Good day, Chief here for Chief Tales Tales. Today's video is called Shelf Life. Strange title. Military runs on beans and bullets, as we say. And each of those items, to include us government issue soldiers, GIs, even we have a shelf life. Be we get injured or retire or reach the age of retirement, or in my case, Chief, you're not going to make the next rank. You need to leave. So, having said that, when I went to the Gulf War, Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, all of a sudden we were getting an influx of MREs. We were told that all MREs were being shipped from stateside to us because we were supposed to be guaranteed a hot meal every day. And that's when T-rats were first starting, and it was always something with rice. Something with rice. At least that's all the experience I've had with T-rats. Now there might be other ones out there nowadays. So when we went to war, also the heater inside the MREs was starting too. So, but being out in the desert, all you had to do was lay your main meal out in the hot sun for a little bit, or on top of a vehicle. It would heat up. So you didn't really need the heating packets, except in the morning. Because, it does get cold in the desert. My mom couldn't understand that. I said, Mom, sand does not retain heat, so that's why it gets cold in the desert. All the heat comes out of the sand, and bada boom, it's cold. Not super cold, even though we did have frost and snow and a little bit of rain. So that's what we were told. So I was in a little bit of hog heaven because we were getting a lot of the old boxes, and we were getting some boxes that had already reached their expiration date. But hey, you open the box. We opened up one box, and somebody reached in and just blindly grabbed a meal, and one of the MREs where that came out, poof, the bag exploded or puffed up. And we all looked at one another and said, nobody touched that one. It went straight into the fire because we don't know what made it puff up. Something got rotten inside of there, and nobody really wanted to open it up and smell it. So, but I got a lot of beef patties and pork patties because hardly anybody else liked them. I liked them because it was nice to be, when we drove, I could put it like a piece of chewing tobacco in my cheeks, and my saliva would make the juices, and so it was like eating jerky. So I was in a little bit of hog heaven getting those, and we did get a few of the modern ones back then. Of course, now the selection has gone through many cycles. I still have yet to buy one of the newer ones at the commissary to give it a taste. I probably should one of these days. So having said all this about shelf life, because even your bullets go bad because gunpowder gets inert, and that's why you have, like in some movies and some videos, you see, we got a cook-off. That means the firing pin hit the blasting cap with the fulminated mercury, but the gunpowder had gone bad, and it just goes poof, and doesn't have enough oomph to put the bullet or the artillery round down the barrel to reach the enemy. So that's what a cook-off is. So that means the gunpowder went bad. So having said all this about shelf life, now I'm going to be a little on the complaining side, because I am sick and tired of watching videos of this person and this person. Oh, we're sending billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine. But yet, numerous other YouTubers have said, in the form of mostly equipment and munitions, there's been very little billions of dollars of humanitarian aid, and what I have heard thus far is even the humanitarian aid for once is being sent over in increments and supposedly is being monitored. Now, whether that's true or not, I have no idea. So I looked up a couple prices. So we sent Ukraine 31 Abrams tanks. The average cost of an Abrams, give or take, is about $225 million. So that means 4 of them is $900 million. Put bullets in that, probably eats up another $100 million. So all of a sudden now you've got 4 Abrams tanks and $1 billion. We sent them 31, which is close to 32, so that's $8 billion in just tanks alone, and 31 vehicles. The average price of a Bradley is like 33, 35 millions, and we've sent them a couple hundred of those things. So that's eating up billions of dollars. Now the 113 I didn't look up, which I probably should have, because the government does not have what the rest of the world has: fair wear and tear. So if you sell this piece of equipment, not unless you desperately want to get rid of it, but in this situation we're desperately not wanting to get rid of it, so therefore that 113 is getting sold out of those billions of dollars at the price it costs to make that thing. That's what I'm guessing. There's no, well, let's see, it's over 60 years old, so we'll cut 20% off the price of them. Now, they might have done that, but I don't know. But even then, they probably, I looked up, I think like 130 of them have already been destroyed, captured, or abandoned. That's quite a few. So I don't know how many hundreds more they still got. So even that, so there's where all that money, billions of dollars, is getting eaten up in just equipment alone, let alone all the munitions. Now, that's a blessing and a curse, because somebody's saying, oh, we're eating up a strategic reserve. That's why we had to hold off sending them a lot of artillery shells earlier in the year, because we'd reach our, strategic reserve just kicked in. We can't send anything else out because in case we go to war. And who are we going to go to war with? China or Russia? Now, Russia will be a land war. China, hopefully we don't invade, because what's that thing? Never start a land war in Asia. Never start a land war in Asia. So I hope we don't start one. So if we reach our strategic reserve and we're worried about China, we're not going to be using very many artillery pieces. Most are going to be using our Navy and our Air Force. Maybe we'll invade like Hong Kong, which would be, let's invade a city. No, thank you. So getting back, so we've sent billions of dollars in equipment. Now, where I say it's a blessing is because we've cleaned out probably, I would assume, the greater share of the 113s. Now that means all the reservists, all the National Guard units have gone, whew. We finally get rid of these relics that are eating up our monetary funds every year because they're old, they break down a lot, parts are hard to come by because who knows if parts are even being made for most of the 113s. You're probably cannibalizing, which a company or which a commander cannot do. Now, my unit that went to the Gulf War, we had one Humvee that wasn't running in our motor pool. So they stripped it of all the parts to make others run better, with the knowledge that as those parts came in for these other vehicles, those parts would come back to this Humvee that we towed throughout the war. Now, whether it came back in a towed condition or not, I do not know, because it wasn't in my unit, my company per se. So I don't know if that vehicle came back as a towed vehicle. But you can't write our battalion commander cannot say, I am going to DX this vehicle, I'm going to say it is a total loss. He can't do that. He does not have that power. So, like I said, we took a vehicle that we towed to the Gulf War rather than leaving it in the port. Of course, if we left it in the port, it probably would have disappeared on us, and then the company commander could have wrote it off. So that means, like I said, these reserve units, these National Guards, they're cleaning out their old stock. So as they clean out their old stock, the regular army is going, here, have Bradleys, here, have Strikers, here. you know, now, then again, the 31 Abrams that we sent, those were supposed to be freshly made, but the contract to fulfill that was going to be 18 months, I heard. And they were like, yeah, that's a year and a half. Yeah, that's a little too long to satisfy that order. Because it's like, if we had given Ukraine all the modern equipment at the very start of this conflict, the war would probably be over with. But who can say? Probably be over with next year because Russia's falling apart and it's at a stalemate. So, and we saw what Trump told Zelensky. I will help end this. Kamala said, we will help keep this war going. Yeah. Don't get me started. So a lot of, like I said, these reserve units are getting rid, and probably a few of the Bradleys probably came from active duty units too, because some of these commanders are like, can we get rid of some of our headaches? We can get them running, so that way we can get them over to Ukraine, and hopefully those are the ones that get destroyed right away, so they don't have to worry about, you know, sitting in the motor pool 10 months out of 12 out of a year. Like I've seen some vehicles sit and sit and sit, you get it fixed. We had a tracked vehicle while I was at Fort Riley. It broke down 3 times in the same day, and the motor pool sergeant was getting madder because every time it broke down, we were further from the motor pool because we were trying to conduct a convoy. But that vehicle was also from the... Cat almost fell off the edge. That vehicle was from the late 50s, I think, because it used to be an old ammo hauler. The track vehicles that we had to tow our big huts. So, a little bit of a beef there. Shelf life, even I had one. I don't know where it was printed on my body, but it was printed that I had to retire at the end of 2013. Like I said, some other soldiers and service members, their warranties expire when they break up their bodies. Not their fault sometimes, but it's the life of a soldier, life of a military member. So, this is Chief out. I don't know when this shelf life is going to end. I hope it doesn't end for a long time, but the thing about growing older, the aches and pains don't go away as fast as they used to. What can I say? So, freedom's not free. You know what to do with a veteran.